All right, so I'm a little bit torn right now. I'm trying to think about what gym I want to go to. So I've got basically two options. One is like 30 minutes away. It's already 8 o'clock. I don't want to go that far. But I've got the school rec, which is 2 minutes away. It has a leg extension, which is all right. It has a hamstring curl. It's got a hack squat. I'll be able to do my normal squats. But I kind of like the leg extension at the other gym. Uh, yeah. No, okay, no, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it up. I've been going to the school rec center like every day this past week and a half. I want to change it up. So it's kind of nice having multiple gym memberships. Not only due to the fact that like you'll have access to more machines, because more likely than not, two different gyms are going to have, two different sets of equipment. So, yeah, I think I'll go to the other one. Let's. I don't even want to sip on this. Let's just slam it before we get over there and discuss what's about to freaking go down. Ooh, sour. I probably should have added a little bit more water. But I did drink that whole, like, liter-ish of the Silo 9 electrolyte mix. So I feel very hydrated at the moment. So, plan for legs, reasonably similar to what I've been doing, honestly, this whole time. But I'll change it up just a touch. Or I've been changing it up just a touch. So let's just break it down. So, gonna drive there, gonna park, gonna turn on some Yeet. Then I'm gonna walk in, probably warm up my calves a little bit. Just because before I do any leg curling, any hamstring work, if I don't warm up my calves, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes the back of my knee, like the pit of my knee, I'll just get a little bit of tightness while I'm doing the leg curls. But if I do a little bit of calf warm up beforehand, I never really feel that. So I'll probably sit on the calf raise machine for, a couple of minutes, do a few sets, not working sets, but, normal weight, 5-ish reps, just get them warm, And then they have a laying leg curl, but I don't really love it. It's kind of grungy. It's like an old Nautilus one, but it needs to be upkept. It needs refurbishment. So I think I'll end up just spamming the seated leg curl that they have there, which I don't have any problem with. I love leg curls. My approach with hamstrings is very similar to quads. It's like almost the simpler the better. Leg curls, love it for hamstrings. Leg extensions, love it for quads. But that second part, I'm kind of starting to change my mentality about. So maybe 4 sets of heavy leg curls seated. Maybe some RDLs. Maybe. I'll have to see how I feel. But I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with a solid hamstring day if the only thing I do is sit on that seated leg curl and just spam out set after set until I've done, all 8. Because by then I'll feel, fucking fatigued. Hamstrings are pumped up. That's what I'm aiming for, right? And after that, no matter what I start with for quads, even if it is leg extensions or squats or whatever, I'll always go to the leg extension just to get warm first. Because, it's like physically, muscularly, like I could probably squat pretty heavy without a warm up, but my knees would just kind of be like on fire. So, light single leg stuff, going back and forth, couple of reps, gradually increasing the weight, just warming up my whole little patella, all the other tendons that are going on in my knees. Just makes me feel better on my first actual working sets. So, I might start with leg extensions. I definitely want to do some barbell squats, mid quads, once I'm pre-exhausted so I don't have to go so heavy. There's a pendulum squat here, which I like. I'll probably try to get some of those going too. There's a machine leg press, potentially a leg extension drop set, What I'm saying right now, it's not really like exactly what I'm gonna do in terms of exercise selection. I'm just kind of breaking down some of the stuff I have at my disposal, because I don't know what I'm gonna do until I'm actually in the scenario, in the gym. Once I've already finished hamstrings and I see how I feel, that's when I really kind of decide what I should do. Because, if for whatever reason one day squats just don't agree with me, maybe my hip feels kind of weird or my back hurts, or kind of rare, but sometimes if you ever fuck up your shoulder, like your rotator cuff, I've messed it up pretty decently before. Never surgery level, but like even the action of getting under a bar for squats was like, no, I got to take a break for a while. If that's you, this is a little bit of a total tangent. You got to see if your gym has a safety squat bar where it's just the pads and you get to hold on to the handles in front of you. Very good alternative. That's what I was doing when I kind of messed up my shoulder last, which was, I don't know, it was a while ago. I've been pretty good. Probably from all the rotator cuff warm-ups that I've been doing. So, let's think about what else is supposed to go down. Yeah, nothing. I'm definitely going to do some calves at the end. Plus, I need to do more direct adductor work. So, adductors, not to be confused with abductors. That's the machine where you're squeezing your legs together. First is the one where you spread them apart, where you're trying to, get a bigger booty. Not really a machine I'm interested in, but, perhaps if you're part of the 3% female viewership watching this, then that's you. Good on you. But for me, the adductor machine where you're squeezing your legs together, for one thing, I just think that movement is awesome for stability. Like, I feel very sturdy squatting when I've been doing my adductors for a while, and just having them be, more developed just kind of makes me less prone to wobbling or whatever else. I should do it more because my left adductor, it's not pulled, but it's like slightly tweaked. I need to, toughen up that little area. If I squat too heavy, it kind of fucks with me. But, just by adding the adductor machine at the end of your lift, I think if you've never done it before, over the course of weeks, if you still squat and leg press and stuff like that, you should begin to notice a difference. I would hope, at least. And when I do adductors, it's not really a balls to the wall set. Like, I'm not like getting amped up or putting on a hype song for my adductor sets. I just kind of throw the whole stack on. 10 reps, really kind of burn out. Because it's not very hard to reach failure. Like, I can kind of get to a point where it just doesn't want to move anymore. Then I rack it, watch 10 TikToks. All right, it's been a minute, let's do another one. Any stimulation of a muscle is better than none. So if this is a total cope style situation. But if you're going to skip calves completely, I mean, if that's your alternative, like if you don't want to do a dedicated calf workout, I mean, maybe just sit on the freaking calf raise for a couple sets. You don't even have to go crazy, but just, like I was just saying, any calf stimulation, any muscular stimulation is better than none. But really, that's stupid. You should just be, hitting everything nice and hard. I kind of sound like a chump for saying that I'm going easy on them. So I still make sure they're good sets, but if the main muscle groups of this lift are hamstrings and quads, adductors are kind of the side dish. And I'll get some calves going as well. I need to get back on my daily calf routine. I kind of slack off on calves sometimes. I'll go on like a calf hiatus. And it's not like my calves are small, so I'm not totally screwed in the calf department, but I do want some freaking, big drumsticks below my knees. So post lift, 8 sets of heavy calves, that'll do you good. So enough talking about it, enough freaking teasing it. What am I even saying? We're about to go do it. So let's just get in there for that first set of hamstrings, whatever that ends up being. All right, legs have been completed. And I'm freaking satisfied. So I was gonna record some of the calf and adductor sets that I was doing. All I did was I sat down and just spammed 8 sets of adductors, where you sit down, you squeeze your legs together, and then 8 sets of calf raises on the, not the normal calf raise machine, the one with like plates on the end of it. This one is kind of just like a stack loaded thing with a little pad that moves back and forth. I liked it, but one of the guys who came in, one of the workers, he like really turned up the music. So, I didn't want to deal with any kind of copyright, whatever. So just imagine what 8 sets of those calf raises and adductor sets look like. And if you don't want to imagine, just go back to the last video where I showed one of the sets of some calf raises. But, you get the gist. 8, I wasn't going to absolute failure, but, 8 sets, solid amount of weight, enough where I was getting a really good burn at like 15 reps. And then same thing with the adductor machine too. I could tell my first 2 sets, my adductor was kind of tight. Like I could sort of feel a little bit of a twinge. But as I kind of warmed up to it, just bouncing around the whole stack, I definitely got to toughen up those stabilizers for sure. I didn't tweak it on those squats, but I could definitely feel that they were kind of starting to come into play a little bit. Well, a little bit more than I would like. So not that it's bad that they're coming into play, but I need them to be a little bit tougher, right, to be able to handle that. But no, that was a freaking badass leg day. Every set of those hamstring curls, pretty much as hard as I could go on. Like I was saying, it's not very difficult for me to hit failure on the hamstring curls, because I can just, reach a point where I just can't do any more reps, or at least can't really fucking move the arm anymore. Squats, those were good. I probably could have got like another rep or two. Like if I was extra hyped up, I probably could have got maybe 1 or 2 more. But that was definitely up in the range of intensity where I'm satisfied with it. If you could have got 5 more, then, you got to do some self fucking reflecting. But in the case of like hitting failure, you're technically capable of doing more. Like if my quads were hooked up with like fucking electrodes and they were controlled by a fucking little electronic thing that would like zap me and contract them, I'm sure they were capable of maybe another rep or 2. But as much effort as I could bring to the table on them, at least the ones where I actually hit failure, that was about as much as I could do. So that's how I should be doing it. I think I definitely get some strength gains out of the way that I have been squatting. I haven't done it for a little while, so if you haven't watched any of the spring bulk videos, then you wouldn't really see it too often. But my approach to quads was basically one crazy set of squats after a good warm-up. Like I would do a plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, like 2 or 3 reps each. And then I would do one set of like, I was getting up in the 500s for like 10, 12, around there. And then re-rack it, and that was it for squats. Which, definitely, contributed to some growth, I'm certain, plus some strength. But I think doing, that force, like, for me to do a leg day of like that set of squats and then the rest of leg extensions, compared to what I just did, 2 leg extensions, kind of priming my quads, then 4 sets of 4 plates, even though it's a little bit lighter, I think doing that much volume with the pressing is going to do me good. I think if not if, I'm going to implement this style of quad training for this bulk, and I'm pretty excited to see if I get a little bit of extra gains in the quads than I have before, because I think I've been slacking on pressing stimulation for quads. It's not very hard for me to just do a leg day where it's almost all leg extensions, because I get a really crazy pump, I feel fatigued, I move a lot of weight around, and my quads are still sore. So I don't think I've been doing it wrong, but I think I've been lacking on the pressing for quads. So I'm excited to see if that'll thicken up my legs as this bulk will begin to progress. Obviously it hasn't started yet. So definitely it it was definitely freaking hard doing those sets of squats back to back. I was almost like, I kind of felt like a little bit of a chump, but I was kind of getting ready to fucking lay down on the floor to catch my breath, just because sitting down on the little exercise block or the wooden block I was sitting on between sets, I could kind of tell my lower back was just like burning. I was kind of starting to get a little bit of a lower back pump, but I didn't want to lay down on the fucking floor. I didn't push myself lay down on the floor to recover level. I didn't push myself that hard. But in between sets, dude, I'm taking a seat to catch my breath, especially on a leg day. I kind of felt like a fucking power lifter when I was doing those sets of hamstring curls. I dragged a chair over from like kind of the living room section of the gym, like the lobby basically, right next to the hamstring curl, just so I could take a seat and relax between sets. Oh, fuck, I felt a sneeze coming on. So, plan now. I've got 1,000 calories left. Dude, it is so fucking late. The leg day itself kind of took a while. I think I was in there, including the adductors and calves. I was in there like 2 hours after kind of a warm up too of like, so plus like an hour of talking at the end. Yeah, I've been in there for quite some time. So I think I'll just do one big meal, then go to bed feeling full. That'll be nice. These full day of eating videos are a lot easier when I'm dieting down, just because there's not so much food to record. It's just not so much freaking volume. But don't worry, I'll definitely show off whatever is getting thrown down my gullet once I start getting up into the 5,000-6,000 calorie range. Don't you freaking worry. So, cardio in the morning, as always, ideally, as freaking always, and then chest and side delts plus calves. Going for some. Well, I'll see how they feel. I'll see how they freaking feel with calves. I want to train them as frequently as possible with, and basically my judge of whether or not I'm going to throw calves in at the end of a workout or save them for the day after is if they're still sore. Because for the most part, your calves are a pretty resilient muscle, right? This is kind of bro science logic, but it's still legit. You're walking around on your freaking calves all day, right? They're used to, being worked. So I think, I could do that whole little calf workout I just did, or I just did calves yesterday, like heavy on that calf raise machine, 5 and 6 plate sets for like 10. And I still didn't feel sore today. I think that they're going to benefit pretty strongly from frequent to potentially daily stimulation. So, end of your workout, you're not in a rush. Go pop a squat on the calf machine, do a couple of sets, man. You'll get something out of it for sure. Definitely more so if you just skip calves entirely. Come on. And having big calves, or at least having calves that are proportionate, just makes your legs look cool. Just makes your freaking leg look cool. So that's pretty much all I gotta say for the car talk. I mean, good lift. Now all we gotta do is get home and see what this final meal is gonna be. I only had freaking 3 today. Reasonably spread out, so that doesn't bother me. I'm not in an insane deficit. Like, I'm not show ready level. I'm not worried about having like a perfectly spread out like influx of proteins, because I'm not worried about like going catabolic. So if I'm cutting down, I don't mind doing like kind of just a 3-meal day. Yeah, holy shit. Just a fucking, basically a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, whatever. But when I start bulking up, if I'm doing, 5,500 calories for the whole day, I want to spread it out a little bit more. I don't want to do like a 2,000 calorie breakfast and a 2,000 calorie lunch and a 2,000 calorie dinner. Like, 2,000 calories on a plate is not nothing. That's a considerable chunk of food. For just the average Joe, I mean, looking at the FDA's like caloric recommendation, like 2,000 calories is the amount of food a fucking normal dude eats in a day to maintain his weight. At least, of a normal like weight, like, I don't know, maybe maybe $1.50 or something. So to eat all that in just 3 meals, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you want to do that? So it's gonna be easier for me to get in all my food if I spread it out. So maybe I'll try to eat a big breakfast, maybe 1,500 calories, something, and then 800 calorie meals throughout the day. Cool. Not that I really do like specifically planned meals. Like I don't really meal prep per se, just because I have access to my kitchen pretty consistently throughout the day. Even when I have a lot of classes, like tomorrow I've got class from 8:30 to 4, but I've got like hour and a half breaks in between, so I can just ride the bike back to the house, make some food, then go off to do whatever I got to do. Now, one of my classes I do have a little bit of a not that long of a break. I've only got like 45 minutes. So I don't really want to come back to the house. I won't really have time to really make a meal and then go back to my next class. So if you're gone for a substantial amount of time, I'd say more important if you're bulking, just trying to get a steady intake of food. If you're away from your kitchen for more than, yeah, I'd kind of, I'm not one to say like you need to eat every 2 hours to grow, but I wouldn't want to go more than 5 hours without eating on a bulk. Actually, I probably wouldn't want to go more than 3 hours without eating on a bulk, just because that's going to make me have to eat a lot of food later in the day. So if you've got like, yeah, I'd say if you're gone for longer than 3 hours, you're going to have to prep some shit. It's not that hard. I mean, get some Tupperware containers, buy some Ben's, I forget the brand, whatever, just like some instant rice packs, cook some beef, chicken, pork, whatever your, meat of choice is. You can have freaking 50 grams of steak, 120 grams of rice, well, 120 grams of carbs worth of rice in a little Tupperware thing, and it'll only take you like 10 minutes to prep that. So, no matter how you go about it, as long as you stay in a calorie surplus, you're going to end up gaining weight. Inversely to that, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. In a lifting context, losing weight means losing body fat. Gaining weight means gaining muscle along with a touch of fat. You kind of can't avoid it. So if you think you're bulking or if you think you're cutting, but your weight isn't changing and visually you're not seeing any differences over the course of weeks, then, you're doing something wrong, man. You got to readjust. You got to actually start tracking your shit on a food scale. Bust out like a macro tracking app. I use the stupid simple macro tracker. I'm not saying that's the best one. That's just the one I end up using because it's stupid simple. So let's just get back to the crib, shower off, put some pajamas on, see what this last meal is, and then go to bed.